Welcome to the Arco Arena in Sacramento, California. Tonight we bring you two fights pitting Mexican champions against Filipino challengers. First up, Johnny Gonzalez makes the third defense of his 118-pound title against veteran Jerry Penalosa. Then 122-pound title holder Daniel Ponce de Leon makes his fifth title defense. He takes on 21-year-old undefeated Bautista. We welcome you inside the Arco Arena in Sacramento, California. An enthusiastic crowd on hand for tonight's HBO Boxing After Dark. This is the first time that Boxing After Dark has been at the Arco since 1997. Undefeated David Tua taking on undefeated Ike Ibuchi. It was a slugfest. In fact, the two combined to throw the most punches by heavyweights in CompuBox history. When the dust settled and the scores were tallied, Ike Ibuchi would remain undefeated, winning a unanimous decision victory. Hello again, everyone, and so glad you can join us back at the Arco. Daniel Ponce de Leon getting set for tonight's main event. He'll put his championship on the line as he makes his fifth title defense. He'll be squaring off against an undefeated, talented fighter from the Philippines, Bautista, who has the nation's hopes on his shoulders. And we welcome you to HBO's Boxing After Dark once again. I'm Bob Papa. When you take a look at this doubleheader, you could flip a quarter. These fights are that close. It should be exciting with a lot of punches thrown. And I'd like to welcome in my partner, former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis. And Lennox, when you take a look at Johnny Gonzalez, he's making his third title defense, but he says it's killing him to make 118 pounds. In fact, he had to come all the way down from 130 pounds. Is that a factor tonight in his fight?
I think it's a big factor when you have to lose so much weight and get ready for a big fight, because I actually seen him before the weigh-ins and everything, and he looked pretty drained, he looked cold, and now I went back just before the fight and he still looks a bit cold. So it's the weight definitely affected him a little bit. We're gonna have to see how he makes out in this fight.
All right, he's taking on a veteran in Jerry Penalosa, a former super flyweight champion who's coming off a discouraging loss. He fought Daniel Ponce de Leon in his last fight, who fights in our main event, and lost a unanimous decision pretty convincingly on the judges' cards, although most ringside observers thought Penalosa landed the more meaningful punches. How does a veteran guy like that bounce back after losing a fight he thought he won?
Well, you know, he wants to prove to the world that he definitely won the fight. What he learned in the last fight is that he needs to throw more punches and definitely impress the judges a lot more, and he hopes to do that in this fight. Now,
we talked about weight being a problem for Johnny Gonzalez, but weight could be a positive for Penalosa, because against Ponce de Leon, he fought at 122 pounds. Now he's down to 118. He says he feels more comfortable.
Well, it's important to feel comfortable at your weight, and the fact that he can perform at a great pace and a great boxing style at that weight, I'm all for it. The fact that he can go into a fight and be the perfect weight that he wants to go, that's a good plus for him.
Penalosa says being down in weight means a knockout victory for him. We're going to find out. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for our first bout of the evening between Johnny Gonzalez and Jerry Penalosa. Penalosa, 35 years of age. You see, Gonzalez came all the way down to 116. He steps on our unofficial scales tonight at 123 pounds. Penalosa, a modest weight gain on tonight's unofficial scales, 119 pounds. Time for the rules with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Johnny Gonzalez-Jerry Penalosa fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules that you see on your screen. Bob, real quick, the 4 criteria that the judges will use to score each individual round: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense, with a strong emphasis on clean, effective punching. Bob!
Here comes the fearless one, Jerry Penalosa, the former super flyweight champion, a very humble young man who feels that he is ready to win another championship. He's a very modest man. He and his wife own several businesses, and he just feels that it's better off to be simplistic in his life, and that's the way he approaches things in the ring.
Well, you know, he always stays in the gym. He's always in terrific shape. In this particular fight, he said he's just went back to the gym. He feels real good. He's at the perfect weight he wants to fight at, and he's ready to prove to the world that he still belongs on top.
He's not all about pomp and circumstance. While he was training in Los Angeles, he would go fishing at the Santa Monica Pier, catch fish off the pier, and eat it raw right on the dock with a little salt and vinegar. He says it keeps him strong.
Well, I asked him about his diet, and he said he loves fruit and fish. That's all he eats, fruit and fish. He doesn't eat no meat.
Well, he is hungry right now for a title. That belt, the Bantamweight Championship, currently being held by his opponent tonight from Mexico City, Johnny Gonzalez. Began boxing at the age of 8. His father worked him through the ranks. He was friends with legendary champion Pepino Cuevas and Chiquita Gonzalez. In fact, Gonzalez supported Johnny financially as an amateur. He says this is his last fight at 118 pounds. He says it's just killing him to make the weight. Psychologically, is that a factor when you know it's your last go at a weight?
Well, let's hope he can perform off of that, because he's not at the ideal weight where he feels comfortable. He had to lose a lot of weight, and the fact that he said it was killing him, that kind of puts some concern in my mind, because he's not going to lose the weight that he needs to lose in this fight.
He'll make the 3rd defense of his title. His wife Maria has made the trip from Mexico City along with his son Johnny Jr. and his 4-month-old daughter Deanna. For the formal introductions, let's send it up to our ring announcer, Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Arco Arena, Sacramento, California. It is the 2nd edition of the World Cup of Boxing, the Philippines versus Mexico, being brought to you by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, in association with La Cerveza Tecate, beer with attitude, Rockstar Energy Drink, party like a rock star, and Ice Link Watch, exquisite timepiece. This bout, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Bantamweight Championship of the World. Supervising for the WBO, Luis Perez. This bout being presented in association with Ala Boxing and SGG Sports Promotions. The judges are Steve McKnight, Steve Morrow, and C.J. Ross. The referee in charge, Pat Russell. Introducing first, the challenger fighting out of the blue corner. He steps in wearing gold trunks trimmed in red and weighing in at 117 pounds. As a professional, he maintains an impressive record consisting of 51 victories with 6 losses, 2 draws, and 34 of his victories coming by way of knockout. The former WBC Super Flyweight Champion of the world. From Manila, the Philippines, Jerry Penalosa. Across the ring in the red corner, he steps in wearing black, trimmed in the colors of Mexico, green, white, and red. His official weight, 116 pounds. As a pro, his record consists of 34 victories, along with 5 losses, and 29 of his victories coming by way of knockout. He is the WBO Bantamweight Champion of the world. De la Ciudad de México, DF, Johnny Gonzalez.
All right, there's the line right there. Come over here, Johnny. There's the line right here. See that, Coach? 12 rounds for the championship of the world. Touch off your gloves, come out at the bell. Good luck.
So we are set in front of an enthusiastic crowd here at the Arco Arena. Johnny Gonzalez defending his bantamweight title against Jerry Penalosa. Will weight be a factor for Gonzalez? Can Penalosa right what he felt was a wrong in his loss to Daniel Ponce de Leon? We will solve that riddle over the next 12 rounds. Gonzalez has recorded 5 first-round knockouts in his career. Penalosa, who has campaigned at super flyweight, in his career, has just one. Gonzalez in the black trunks, a decided reach advantage, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist, 24 inches, nearly 2.5 inches longer than Penalosa's.
And you know the funny thing about that, he needs to use that reach because Penalosa wants to get in there and get in there close because he realizes that he's at a disadvantage on size and reach. So cutting off the ring is very important for him. And stepping over to his left is even more important to him because that's the way Johnny's going. He's going towards his left.
What about the footwork, Lennox? Southpaw against the orthodox fighter.
Well, the southpaw is doing the right thing. If you notice, there's a couple instances where Penalosa is actually stepping on his foot. The referee hasn't caught that yet, but he definitely needs to keep that right foot on the outside of Gonzalez.
What about the shorter Penalosa trying to get inside? He's giving away 3.5 inches of height. How does he do it?
Well, footwork is a key to get inside. Moving inside. Every time Johnny throws a punch, he has to duck inside of his punches, not on the outside. But he's doing the right thing. He's got his hands up. He's not taking any silly shots in there. And he's moving in. He's putting a little pressure on Johnny. Right now, he should be really cutting off the ring and not following him around, but he's trying to get in there with the jab, which is doing well.
Gonzalez right now controlling the distance against Penalosa, landed a good left hand to the body.
Gonzalez not really throwing too many punches. It's like he's picking his shots very carefully. He doesn't want to waste his punches. He's one of those boxers that don't like to waste too many punches.
Would you like to see a little more punch output from Gonzalez?
Stop at the bell.
Gonzalez should remember this is only the first round, the figure-out round, so you know we're not really expecting too much. But right now they're really banging it out.
They figured it out for 2 minutes and 50 seconds and then just traded over the final 10.
He's throwing you an overhand right. Pick him up, the uppercut, but keep him at a distance. You follow me? You know how to do it. Throw the body, left hook to the body. Come on, but do it.
All right, Jerry. Stay low, keep working that body, okay? Good job, okay? Now, don't follow him. Cut that ring off for me, okay? All right? All right, don't follow him. You want to cut the ring off, okay? Create some action, okay? All right? Keep moving that head, staying low, okay, son?
Smile.
So an explosive end to round number 1. Jerry Penalosa landing some pretty good shots against Johnny Gonzalez as we get set for round number 2.
See, the last round, it was just a hustle. Who wants to win that last round? They both wanted to win it, so they wanted to get those last shots in there in that last 10 seconds.
Golden Boy Promotions and Oscar De La Hoya have put together a little tournament between Mexican fighters and Filipino fighters tonight. That's the entire card, and you hear the crowd reacting. There are a lot of Filipino flags being flown throughout the crowd as well as Mexican flags, so there's some nationalistic flavor to this as well.
Johnny Gonzalez is still kind of measuring out there. He's not really trying to take the fight over and assert himself like he should be.
What should he do more of, Lennox?
Well, he's doing the right things in the sense of he needs to throw more punches. He needs to be a lot stronger with his punches, especially with his jab. Try and keep the fight in the center of the ring. Penalosa's doing the right thing. He's putting the pressure on him. He's making him back up. He wants to get him against the ropes so he can take advantage of his shorter arms out of the two.
It seems as if Penalosa is slowly, in small increments, figuring out a way to close the gap a little bit.
Well, he has to. He's the shorter boxer. He doesn't want to keep this fight at long range because he's at a disadvantage having shorter arms. Going to the body is a good thing for him, Penalosa, to slow Johnny down, realizing that he had to make weight. So that could be a good technical thing for him to do.
Gonzalez coming off a March 30th TKO win over Irene Pacheco.
Looking at Johnny Gonzalez's punches, there's not too much steam behind him. He's just using his arms to really throw the punches.
You know, when we talked with Penalosa in the fighter meeting, he was convinced that this fight wouldn't even go the distance.
Well, he's on a search and destroy mission. He said, you know, I asked him what he's going to do in this round, in this fight. He said he's just going to search and destroy. He's going to knock Johnny Gonzalez up.
Watch your feet.
He really seemed optimistic of him really saying that, but you know, we want to see him do it, and right now he needs to pick up the pace a little bit, put a little bit more pressure on Johnny and try and put him up against the ropes.
Low blow right on the belt line by Gonzalez.
And Gonzalez threw a good body punch there and a good hook to end the round.
Tuesday, catch the next Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. Among the stories, cameras follow law enforcement officials as they bust illegal dogfighting rings. Also a Real Sports exclusive interview with Pac-Man Jones, the Tennessee Titans suspended football player. He's suspended for the upcoming season for off-the-field incidents.
Okay. Give me a towel. You got to work closer. He felt your punch.
Bien vivo. Ahora engaña lo que le va aquí, se lo clavas arriba y el recto de derecha. Piensa lo que vas a hacer. Second down.
We'll get set for the start of round number 3, and you know, Gonzalez landed a couple pretty good shots there at the end of the round. Let's see if he can kind of build upon that momentum, Lennox.
Yeah, Johnny Gonzalez is not breathing hard. He looks pretty relaxed in there. Hasn't really done too much. Hasn't really put too much power behind his punches. He's just going through the motions a little bit until he hears that last 10 seconds. Then he picks up the pace.
He'll also block most of that from Gonzalez.
There's not a lot of body punches thrown right now, and the person that should be throwing the body punches is Penalosa. He should be going to Johnny's body and trying to score some points and trying to affect him for the later rounds.
How does he get in there to get those body shots delivered when he's giving away the height and reach?
Well, that's where footwork comes in. He has to move in quick, and when he's ducking, he has to duck inside and come back with a combination punches. He doesn't really have to go after the head too much, but he can start out going after the body and then end off at the head.
And a lot of connects right now for either fighter. Penalosa shoots a left hand to the midsection, works a jab. Does Gonzalez need to be a bit busier?
Well, Gonzalez is doing the right thing right now. He's keeping the fight in the center of the ring. He doesn't want to put his back up against the ropes. He's trying to catch Penalosa on the way in, but he's throwing some good shots. Penalosa's right there in the middle. Johnny Gonzalez can shut his eyes and throw a punch, and Penalosa will still be there because he's not really giving you too much head movement. He's not giving you different angles, which he should be. He's just coming in straight forward.
Penalosa blocks that volley from Gonzalez.
And although Penalosa's there to be hit, he's doing a good job keeping his hands nice and high and not getting hit with any silly shots in there.
So a counter shot from Penalosa. Looks to the head, works a jab. Gonzalez digs to the body. Left hook working for Gonzalez. Penalosa steps in the pocket. End of 3.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Can you work that down? Tyler. Deep breath. Okay, Jerry.
I got a headbutt, no cut on that. Ready?
Okay.
We're looking good. How we doing, Joe? Looking good? You squirt?
Jerry, just use the double jab and get a little closer and then drop down to the body for me, okay? All right? Just double jab that jab up for me, okay? You're gonna let your hands go a little bit more. Double jab, put that left hand in the body and come back with the hook. You hear me?
Okay.
All right?
And here's a replay of Penalosa ducking and coming up and catching Johnny Gonzalez with his head on his nose. And it affected Johnny, as you can tell.
Jerry Penalosa and Johnny Gonzalez begin round number 4, scheduled for 12. Gonzalez defending his bantamweight championship. Let's get a look at Harold Letterman's scorecard.
Okay, Bob. 2 rounds to 1. 29-28. Johnny Gonzalez. You know, Bob, Johnny Gonzalez is one of these slick stylists that once he gets into his rhythm, he's brutal to fight the guy. I mean, you know, he moves, he gets off at the jab, he touches you, he throws triple left hooks. He piles up points the way Virgil Hill used to do. Touches your moves, touches your moves, touches your moves, you know, and he'll double and triple that hook. So, anyway, I thought Gonzalez won rounds 2 and 3. 2-1, Gonzalez.
You know, one of the interesting things, Lennox, when you take a look at this fight with Gonzalez and his height advantage and his reach advantage, according to CompuBox, as of right now, he's only landed 5 of 104 jabs in the fight. You think he'd want a little bit more accuracy with his jab.
Well, he definitely needs to step into his jab. That would help him. Right now, it's Penalosa's making this an easy fight for him because he's standing right there in front of him. Johnny Gonzalez knows he's gonna come, and all he does is step back, throw a couple punches. They don't need to be hard, but you know, Penalosa's there, and it makes it look like he's scoring the points.
So you're saying it's easy for Gonzalez right now?
Yeah, very easy for Gonzalez. What Penalosa needs to do is go to that body, throw a couple jabs to the head, go step right to the body, put him up against the ropes, and start throwing some combinations in there. He said in this particular fight he wants to throw more punches, but he has to get in to throw the punches. And then when he's inside, that's when he's got to throw the combination punches. So waiting around for Johnny Gonzalez is the wrong thing to do. He's to cut off the ring and push him against the ropes.
Gonzalez has had some success with that left hook to the body.
And that's one of his honey punches, is that left hook to the body. After he throws a good combination, that left hook is always there.
And Penalosa told us he wants to be busier after that loss to Daniel Ponce de Leon. I don't know if he's been extremely busier through nearly the first 4 rounds of the fight.
Johnny Gonzalez is doing a great job keeping him at a distance right now. He's in Johnny Gonzalez's punching distance. And if you look, Penalosa's trying to throw punches, but he's coming up short because Johnny Gonzalez has longer arms, plus he's stepping backwards.
Not a lot of punches coming from Penalosa here in the fourth.
See, Penalosa, he wants to press the action, but he's pressing it at the last 10 seconds when he needs to press it from the first time the bell rings.
Still to come, our main event on Boxing After Dark. Daniel Ponce de Leon defends his 122-pound title. Hailing out of Mexico, coming off the win against Jerry Penalosa, making the 5th defense of his championship belt. A 2000 Olympian from Mexico, a businessman, but also a boxing champion. He's coming up in our main event. Daniel Ponce de Leon puts his title on the line against the Philippines' Bautista.
It's 5 rounds now.
And here we see a little left by Gonzalez at the end of the round, catching Penalosa right on the chin. Penalosa trying to come back, but too late.
Interesting point you made, Lennox, at the end of the round, too. Penalosa not doing a lot until the end of the round. He needs to have a busier pace throughout, doesn't he?
Well, he needs to start it off right now. I mean, there's no use waiting till you hear that 10-second call on the mat and then try and win the round. You should try and win the round straight as soon as you hear the bell go. Impose your will against the guy, put him up against the ropes and win.
Those power shots, those left hands, those hooks have been successful for Gonzalez. Penalosa doing too much following here and not enough cutting off of the ring?
Well, he's got that foot on the outside, but he needs to make more quicker moves with his feet to shorten the distance between him and Johnny Gonzalez so he can get his combination punches going. And you notice Johnny Gonzalez is using that left hand. He's not really putting too much power behind the jab. He's using it as a measuring tool to keep him on the outside, keep him at a certain distance so he can throw his combinations.
It almost looked like that time Gonzalez telegraphed that he was going to throw the left hook to the body, and Penalosa did nothing and just let it land.
It's like Penalosa wants to get hit first before he reacts and throws the combination, but when he reacts to throw a combination, Johnny Gonzalez is gone. There you have it again. Johnny throwing a combination, Penalosa reacting after.
Gonzalez rips a right hand to the stomach of Penalosa. Penalosa shoots a left hand to the body of Gonzalez. Kind of one punch at a time, though, Lennox.
Yeah, Penalosa should be more on the balls of his toes, ready to react, ready to shorten that distance so he can gain better position to throw his punches because of the fact that he's got shorter arms. Still waiting around, allowing Johnny Gonzalez to keep him at a distance. There you have another clash of heads. Both boxers coming in, clash of heads, and I'm surprised there's not a cut. And here we go. This is where whoever wants it is going to take it right now.
Gonzalez keeps the distance and ends the round nicely. Each Wednesday, catch Hard Knocks training camp with the Kansas City Chiefs. There are 4 more weeks to go. Watch exclusive NFL Films footage as we chronicle the hardships of rookies and veterans alike as they battle through injuries and adversity to secure a roster spot, as well as the raging battle for the starting quarterback position and the running back dilemma. Hard Knocks training camp with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Come back to the right hook to the head, you hear me? All right? Bang, bang, right there, okay? Now don't wait on him. You be first and keep backing this guy up. But now here, Jerry, the last 10 seconds he's trying to steal the round, okay? Fire your combinations, okay? Don't let him steal the last 10 seconds of the round. You hear me?
And here we're going to see another headbutt by Penalosa. Clash of heads on the same spot. Like I said, I'm surprised there's not a cut. Johnny Gonzalez very durable.
Interesting, trainer Freddie Roach told Penalosa in the last 10 seconds of the round, he, meaning Gonzalez, is trying to steal the round. It seems like that's what Penalosa is trying to do.
Yes, and you know, he shouldn't be trying to steal the rounds. He should be trying to win the rounds.
According to CompuBox, over the last 2 rounds, Gonzalez has outlanded Penalosa 37-16. He's done it with power shots. Bob Papa, Lennox Lewis, the Arco Arena in Sacramento, California. HBO's Boxing After Dark. Johnny Gonzalez defending his 118-pound championship against Jerry Penalosa. Still to come in our main event, Daniel Ponce de Leon defends his title against Ray Bautista. No knockdown so far in the fight. Gonzalez has been able to control the distance as Penalosa does get inside, but right away Gonzalez fires back with the right hand.
And Penalosa needs to do something in a hurry because this fight's slipping away from him round by round unless he does something drastic. And what I mean by drastic, he needs to put on a lot more pressure on Johnny Gonzalez, put him up against the ropes, and throw different combinations, get wild in there. Still flat-footed, needs to be on the balls of his toes, and needs to throw some jabs. There's another clash of heads right there. I'm sure the referee's going to talk to Penalosa about that.
Let's go.
But in turn, the referee warns both boxers.
Penalosa, a highly respected boxer in the Philippines. In fact, he is the idol of Manny Pacquiao. Been a great champion at the tail end of his career here at the age of 35. In fact, he told us yesterday after this fight, after he won this fight, and he was confident, very confident, in fact, thinking he may knock out Gonzalez, that maybe one more fight and he's done. Good double left hook to the body, though, by Gonzalez.
Well, I haven't seen him throw a punch yet that really put Johnny Gonzalez on his heels or really that can concern him any much.
Land a good straight left hand. Gonzalez digs for that body again.
And Johnny Gonzalez is throwing some good combination punches out in there. And one of the punches in his repertoire is the uppercut, which he throws very well.
Left hand by Penalosa. Gonzalez with the left of his own.
And Penalosa got through with a good left hand right there, right when Johnny Gonzalez was throwing the left hook.
Halfway through. Still to come in our main event, Daniel Ponce de Leon defends his title against Boom Boom Ray Bautista. Bautista, top talent out of the Philippines, just 21 years of age. Gaudy record 23-0 with 17 knockouts. Coming off a May win against Sergio Medina. 12-round decision victory. That was on the undercard of Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather. Ray Bautista ready to get his first title fight.
Watch that head. What did we do with that cheek?
Just pick it up a little bit zero, okay, son? Okay? Jerry?
Come on, Jerry, this is it, man. Win this fight. Let's go.
Again, round number 7 of the scheduled 12-rounder. Johnny Gonzalez defending his bantamweight title against Jerry Penalosa. Let's check in again with Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. 59-55, 5 rounds to 1. Johnny Gonzalez. Bob, I think he won the last 5 rounds. I mean, this kid's boxing beautifully. The thing that Penalosa doesn't do is he doesn't throw 2 punches at a time. I mean, when he gets in a good shot, it's always 1 punch and that's it. I don't know if it's his reflexes or the fact that Gonzalez is moving, but it's always 1 at a time. On the other hand, Gonzalez, when he digs that left hook to the body, doubles it. Here, look at that. 4-punch combination right there. He does it all the time, Johnny Gonzalez. He keeps moving his hands. Beautiful ring generalship. Keeps him away. 5-1, Johnny Gonzalez.
Thank you very much, Harold. I guess the one round that Lennox, I think back on the, maybe either way, was round number 3, but you know, for the most part, Gonzalez has been able to control distance and use that left hand, not so much with the jab scoring, but as you said, a rangefinder, and then using that left hook very effectively.
And he's got good poise in there. He's not in a hurry to do anything. Very relaxed in there. He knows what he wants to do. He knows there's not too much pressure on him, so he can do what he wants to do in there.
And for a guy that had to come down from 130 pounds to make the 118-pound limit. Gonzalez seems to be pretty relaxed, and it doesn't seem like the weight loss affected him much.
Not too much. I mean, Penalosa doesn't really give him too much pressure to worry about, so he's relaxed. He doesn't feel the pressure anytime at all. He can do what he wants to. Anytime he wants to rest, all he does is get on his feet and move around.
Left hook to the side, Penalosa off balance. Now, each round is almost a carbon copy. Gonzalez will box, control the range, use the left hook, and then the last 15 seconds, Penalosa tries to open up.
And I'm sure as the rounds go on, Penalosa is going to become more desperate. I'm sure his corner is going to tell him, listen, you need to pick up the pace. You really need to do something in there. And hopefully get Penalosa to do a lot more than he's doing right now. And Penalosa still following him around. Oh, good body shot.
Yeah, body shot puts Gonzalez down.
He's hurting. I don't even think he's gonna make this. This is a rough shot. He's not even breathing. He cannot make it, and this is where the weight has an issue and caused him to really take all that weight, the weight that he needed around his ribs to protect him. He had no weight there.
What a turn of events. And maybe Penalosa knew something we didn't know. He said I'd stop him, and he did.
Really surprising blow. I was looking more for a stoppage with a knockout, not with a body punch.
At least according to our scorecards, Gonzalez was in control and ahead, but Jerry Penalosa, with one crushing body shot, stops Johnny Gonzalez here in the 7th.
That was definitely a liver shot, and liver shots can cripple you. And here we go, left to the body. Oh, right in the liver. That's a crippling blow. Anybody that gets a shot there always finds it very difficult to come back. I would have been surprised if he would have got up from that shot. And here we see it from another angle. Penalosa ducking under, coming back with that left hook right to the liver.
It was the perfect shot.
Unbelievable shot. Nobody really expected it. Came out of nowhere. We wanted Penalosa to do something in a hurry, and he did it.
Jerry Penalosa promised a knockout. He was so confident he was going to get a knockout. It didn't look like it was going that way,
no,
Lennox.
I tell you, the fight looked like it was slipping away from him, and all of a sudden, we've seen Johnny Gonzalez go to his knees, grinning in pain from that liver shot.
Incredible. For the official time of the stoppage, here's Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout comes to a sudden and dramatic end with an official time of 2 minutes, 45 seconds of the 7th round. Your winner, by way of knockout and new WBO Bantamweight Champion of the world, from the Philippines, Jerry Penalosa.
Jerry Penalosa with a dramatic 7th round body shot knockout of Johnny Gonzalez. And Lennox Lewis, it's not an understatement, literally with one punch, he turned this fight around. One punch did it.
One punch did it. It was an unbelievable punch right in the liver. And that's why you have to protect yourself at all times. Anything can happen. Anytime you think a fight's boring, there's always a chance that anything can happen. It only takes one punch to divert history.
Let's take a look at the final punch numbers in this fight. Gonzalez had an edge in the round in which the fight was stopped. These are the total punches. You see that Gonzalez clearly outlanding Penalosa in the fight. He was busier. He was a bit more accurate. But it was one left hand right to the liver that stopped Johnny Gonzalez in round number 7. Well, let's take a look at the HBO sports calendar. Tuesday, catch the next Real Sports. Among the stories, our cameras follow law enforcement as they bust illegal dogfighting rings. Also an exclusive interview with Adam Pac-Man Jones, the Tennessee Titans suspended for the upcoming season for off-the-field incidents. Each Wednesday for the next 4 weeks, it's Hard Knocks training camp with the Kansas City Chiefs. You'll go behind the scenes as the Chiefs try to sort out their roster spot in a grueling battle throughout the hot days of August in training camp, plus their quarterback battle and their running back dilemma. September the 12th, it's the premiere of Inside the NFL. Check out all the action with Bob Costas, Dan Marino, Chris Collinsworth, and Chris Carter. And September the 29th, live on HBO, middleweight champion Jermaine Taylor defends his title against undefeated challenger Kelly Pavlik, a great matchup. For all that, California. Well, the Arco Arena, a little bit stunned. The Filipino fans thrilled with Jerry Penalosa's victory. Lennox Lewis, that was just a very impressive performance by Jerry Penalosa here tonight.
Well, you know, the last punch was definitely an impressive punch. I was expecting him a lot more from him earlier, but he definitely didn't disappoint the fans. He ended it with a great punch to the liver.
Well, that gets us set for our main event here with Daniel Ponce de Leon. He's defending his championship tonight against Ray Bautista. And, you know, with Daniel Ponce de Leon in his last fight against Jerry Penalosa, who just came up with a stirring victory, he was the winner, although many people at ringside felt that Daniel Ponce de Leon did not do enough to win. He threw 1,399 punches in the fight. The question is, were those punches just quantity or quality?
Well, you know, in his last fight, he threw a lot of punches, and as you can see, he used a lot of arm punches. And, you know, when it comes to the judging, they want to see quality. They don't want to see quantity. And, I mean, it depends on who the judges are as well, but he wasn't that impressive in his last fight, and this fight he hopes to be more impressive.
Now, he got hurt in the second round, and it's almost as if he used the volume of punches to kind of keep Penalosa away and come up with a unanimous decision victory.
Well, for this fight, he definitely needs to sit under his punches and put a lot of more power behind his punches to impress us a bit more than he did in his last fight.
All right, well, Ray Bautista is 21 years of age, and he is a guy with a lot of promise out of the Philippines. He wants to come and take Daniel Ponce de Leon's title away tonight here in Sacramento. The question is, everybody in the Philippines is pointing toward Ray Bautista as a big-time star. What is it like at the age of 21 to be fighting for your first world championship with the weight of a nation following you? The town he's from, they have big screens set up everywhere to watch Ray Bautista fight.
Let me tell you, there's a lot of pressure behind him. He wants to be the next big star in the Philippines. He's taking this fight very serious. He came over here. He's been doing 7 weeks of training camp. That shows you how serious he is about this fight. And he wants to be the next star, and this is going to be his chance. So I can't wait to see him in the ring either.
Well, you know, you mentioned that he was here for 7 weeks and trying to get acclimated. Talk about the commitment level to come to America for that long of time and what he hoped to accomplish by being here for 7 weeks.
Well, for being here for 7 weeks, you got to get climatized. Over here, you got a dry heat. It's very hot and it's very dry. You can get cut easily. It's very important to have to be conditioned to the environment. So he's doing the right thing by coming over here and training for 7 weeks. Did some good sparring over here. I'm excited about him. and I can't wait to see him in the ring.
He and his camp have done their own cooking, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fish. They said the transition has been seamless. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for our main event, Daniel Ponce de Leon and Ray Bautista. Bautista just 21 years of age. Bautista 1 inch taller, slight reach advantage for De Leon, both weighing in at 121 pounds. You see that De Leon on our unofficial HBO Boxing After Dark scales has put on 9 pounds. Bautista has put on 8. Time for the rules with Harold Letterman.
The Daniel Ponce de Leon Ray Bautista fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. The doctor or the referee can stop the fight. In case the cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards if the 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Bob.
Ray Boom Boom Bautista from the Philippines, came from a very humble beginning. His father was a fisherman. His dad did some amateur boxing. That's how he was first introduced to the sport. A former Philippine flyweight national champion. Says he learned a lot from Jerry Penalosa's loss to Daniel Ponce de Leon. And he just feels supremely confident in his abilities to win this fight tonight. The psychological aspects, he says, are not a factor.
Well, he's young and hungry. That's the main thing, and he wants to go out there. He obviously wants to be the next star in the Philippines. This is his opportunity. We're going to have to see if he can really come through with this and perform well.
Well, Ray Bautista, in the biggest stage of his career, a world title fight for the first time. Turned pro on June the 12th, 2003. Has 110 rounds as a professional under his belt. And we will see how Bautista can handle the volume and the amount of punches that will be displayed by this man, 27-year-old Daniel Ponce de Leon. His boxing idols were Finito Lopez, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Daniel Zaragoza. It was a personal thrill for him as a kid to be co-trained by Daniel Zaragoza as he was preparing for the Mexican Olympic team, participated in the 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney. He's a businessman. He's invested his money wisely, but he says boxing is his focus, and he wants to make his 5th title defense tonight in impressive fashion.
Well, he's definitely throws a lot of punches, and we want to see more better punches, better quality punches in this fight than quantity.
Daniel Ponce de Leon has made his entrance into the ring. He spent time in California, also from Guatemala, Mexico. Time for the introductions. Once again, our ring announcer, Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Arco Arena, Sacramento, California. Once again, it is the World Cup of Boxing being brought to you by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, La Cerveza Tecate, Tecate beer with attitude, Rockstar Energy Drink, party like a rock star, and Ice Link Watch, exquisite timepiece. This bout is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Junior Featherweight Championship of the World. President of the WBO, Francisco Paco Valcarce. Supervisor, Richard DeCure. The judges are Max DeLuca, Steve English, and John Stewart. The referee, John Shorley. And now, damas y caballeros from Mexico, Mabuhay, Philippines. The time has come to see who is El Más Macho. Introducing first, he steps into the ring as the challenger in the blue corner, wearing black trunks trimmed in white and red, and weighing in at 121.5 pounds. He is an undefeated professional fighter with 23 victories. 17 of his victories coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Tagbilaran, Bohol, Philippines, Ray Boom Boom Bautista. Across the ring in the red corner, he steps in wearing black, trimmed in gold, and weighing in at 121½ pounds. As an amateur, he proudly represented his homeland of Mexico in the 2000 Olympics. And as a pro, he maintains a record consisting of 31 victories, with 1 lone defeat, and 28 of his victories coming by way of knockout. Defending his WBO Junior Featherweight Championship of the World, de Cuauhtémoc, Chihuahua, Mexico, Daniel Ponce de León.
Okay, guys, for the WBO championship, give me a good, clean fight. Touch gloves, good luck.
So we are set for the main event. Daniel Ponce de León and Ray Bautista, 12 rounds. Ponce de León's championship at stake. Bautista is hungry. Ponce de León can be defensive. But, you know, despite the fact that we talked about his last fight in which he didn't really sit down on his punches and he used volume to beat Jerry Penalosa, this is a boxer with 32 pro bouts, 28 knockout victories. So there's got to be some power somewhere in there for Ponce de León. 9 first-round knockouts in his career. Bautista has 1. Mentioned that Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions put together this World Cup, Mexico against the Philippines. It's been all Philippines here tonight at the Arco. They've won the first 5 bouts of the evening. But more importantly, a title at stake.
And if you look at the trainer, Freddie Roach, he's 5-0 with the Philippine boxers.
Alex, what's it like when the bell finally rings for someone like Bautista, worked his career to get into a world title fight, that first round of your first ever world title fight?
Well, he's doing good right now because he's not in a rush. He's taking his time, realizing this is the first round.
Well, Ponce de León has landed a couple lefts and Bautista shaken up. It's almost like Daniel Ponce de León said, welcome to the big time.
He wants to get another first-round knocking there and build on his record. Definitely gave it a go that time.
Chant of Mexico, the Mexican fans, looking for at least 1 victory here tonight. Sacramento has always been a great fight town. Some great champions like Tony the Tiger Lopez, Loreto Garza, the late Diego Corrales, and Bobby Chacon. Part of the Sacramento boxing history.
Nobody really throwing a jab out there.
Sweeping left from the champion.
Bautista still looks a bit tight. He hasn't really loosened up yet.
Oh, nice combination. Bautista's down.
That was right on the chin. And let me tell you, the ropes held him up and he still looks really wobbly on his feet. Ponce de León wants to get back in there, wants to get in. Referee's giving him a good long count.
Plenty of time, referee John Shirley looking in.
This is it, that's it, it's over. And it just showed that Ponce de León was very warm. He started the fight off fast and threw combinations and went right after Bautista. It's like he did say, welcome to the big time. This is my ring and I want to prove it. I'm coming after you and I want to take this fight. And he did.
A right-left combination sent Bautista down the first time. They connected 19 power shots in that first round. He gets his 10th first-round knockout of his career in emphatic fashion. Daniel Ponce de León.
And Bautista didn't look like he was that warm. He was still pretty tight and rigid, and he got caught at that point when he was tight and rigid.
And we wondered about the 21-year-old Bautista in his first world title fight. Would he be overwhelmed by the moment? He was overwhelmed by Daniel Ponce de Leon. The 5th title defense for Ponce de Leon. And Boom Boom's looking for the truck number that hit him. Watch the right-left.
And here's the first knockdown, and it was a right-left, and it looked like Ponce de Leon threw the punch and didn't realize that it was so accurate, and it hit him right on the chin. And as you can see, Bautista's still struggling and struggled from right on the chin. He didn't even realize that he caught him right on the chin. There it goes again. All he seen was the reaction, and you seen the grimace on Bautista's face as he hit the ropes. Still wobbly, still trying to get the cobwebs out of his head. And here we go, and we're gonna see the knockout. Just didn't recover. The referee gave him every chance, but Ponce de Leon took him out. Great finish by Ponce de Leon.
Well, I mentioned, we talked about, as you get a look at the second knockdown again, the left hand's finding their mark. Talked about so much talk about him not sitting down on his punches in the last fight, but I did say he had 28 knockouts. Now he's got 29.
Well, nobody can say he didn't sit down under these punches. And that's what I said. He needs to sit down under his punches, and that's the kind of effect you get.
Let's get the official time of the stoppage with Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John Shorley steps in and stops the fight with an official time. 2 minutes, 30 seconds of the very first round. Your winner by way of technical knockout. And still, the WBO Junior Featherweight Champion of the world, de Mexico, Daniel Ponce de Leon.
So Daniel Ponce de Leon with a very impressive first round stoppage of Ray Bautista here in Sacramento. As we take a look at the final CompuBox numbers, and it was brief, only 1 round's worth. And you take a look at the final punches, 20 landed by De Leon, 19 of those connected were power shots. So he landed 19 power shots out of the 20 connected. He was busier, and obviously Bautista was really not a factor in this fight, as Ponce de Leon took this fight right to him. 19 of 39 in the power shots, nearly 50%. And Bautista was never in the fight. Well, and the numbers will indicate that.
You know what was important for Bautista? Bautista should have been a lot warmer coming into the ring, because when you're in world champion boxing, you gotta be warm before you step into the ring.
Well, we're going to talk with Daniel Ponce de Leon in just a second, but just a very impressive performance, and he fought like a champion making his 5th title defense. He was relaxed, he stepped in, and he took care of business.
And he was warm from the get-go.
He certainly was warm from the get-go, and we have Daniel Ponce de Leon here with us at ringside as he gets the 29th stoppage of his professional career, dismantling 21-year-old Ray Bautista in round number 1. And we are joined by Daniel Ponce de Leon, and Ray, you're going to do a little translating for us. First of all, talk about what he saw early in the fight where he felt he could expose the 21-year-old.
Vino que tuviste temprano en la pelea que tú sabías que lo ibas a noquear.
Yo vine a tirar mis golpes fuertes, primeros golpes fuertes de la pelea. Tiré mis golpes fuertes, me sentía que apenas estaba empezando a calentar, a agarrar mi ritmo, pero gracias a Dios la preparación que tuve y la fe en Dios para ganar esta pelea.
I came ready to throw punches, hard punches from the beginning. I came well prepared, a lot of faith that I was going to do it, and I did it.
Because of so much talk about his win against Jerry Penalosa, where people said that it was a lot of punches, but many thought it was a lot closer than the final scores would indicate, did he want to come out and finish this thing early?
Yeah. Porque hubo mucho que hablar en la pelea de Penalosa, que te la dieron a ti, mucha gente dijeron, entonces tú quisiste venir temprano y hacer algo, pero con mucha expectativa.
Así es, la pelea pasada no me preparé así al 100%, me confié y ahora me quise sacar esa espina de no haberme preparado al 100%. Me preparé al 200% y gracias a Dios aquí están los resultados.
Yeah, you know, because of the last fight, I wasn't 100%, and I knew that there was a little something that I should have done more, and because of that, I wanted to make a statement this time.
All right, let's take a look at the first knockdown. As we take a look at the replay, it looked like a right hand and then a left that started.
Vamos a ver el replay, qué es lo que está pasando.
Ahí tiré mi golpe de izquierda fuerte.
I threw a real hard left.
Una recta que he estado practicando.
A real straight left that I've been practicing on.
Y cada vez me sale más fuerte y aún me falta más.
And every time that I connect that, it comes out good, and it's going to get better.
Did you sense that he really hadn't recovered as we now look at the end of the fight?
Así que tú sabes que después del primer knockdown no se había recuperado y le brincaste encima.
Así es, se vio que él no tenía piernas y ya faltaba nomás un toquecito para tumbarlo.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew that his legs weren't under him. I knew that he was still shaking up. I wanted to get at him right away because one more little shot would have done it, and it did.
Okay, after this very impressive victory, which fight does he want the most next? Is it Israel Vázquez? Who is it?
Después de esta victoria tan impresionante, ¿a quién quieres ahora? ¿Israel Vázquez? ¿A quién?
Pues la verdad que Golden Boy Promotion es el que decide. Tengo una pelea más este año firmada y 3 el próximo año. Tengo 4 peleas más, mucho trabajo, entonces puedo agarrar más fogueo, puedo pelear con ellos. O sea, yo estoy listo para darles una pelea a todo mi público.
Yeah, Golden Boy Promotion is my promoter, and they'll decide. I have one more fight with them this year and 3 more next year. Whoever they put me on, I want to give good fights to this public.
And finally, one more, obviously with the Mexican and Filipino crowd here, how important was it? I know it's more important to keep your title, but how important was it to get at least one win for Mexico?
Yeah, y después de esta pelea que estaba en México perdiendo 5-1, ¿cuál fue tan importante, aparte de conservar tu título, que por lo menos una victoria para México?
Pues yo, por mi parte, yo sabía que iba en una Copa del Mundo contra Filipinas. De mi parte, me preparé al 100% para ganar esta Copa para México. Por mi parte, esta Copa es para México, este campeonato es para México, y yo soy mexicano. ¡Viva México!
Yeah, I knew it was very important with this World Cup. Unfortunately, we didn't win it, but I knew I was going to win my fight so I can contribute to the World Cup. ¡Viva México!
Fantastico.
Thank you.
Daniel Ponce de Leon with a very impressive performance tonight as he dismantles 21-year-old Ray Bautista in round number 1. Lennox, you know, you take a look at this fight, and you know there were the questions coming in about what happened in his last fight, but he really erased all doubts as far as that punching power, and now in 33 fights as a professional, he has 29 stoppages.
Well, let me tell you, I wasn't really expecting that, but he surprised me tonight. He came out throwing power punches instead of volume, which was important for this fight, and it paid off dividends for him, and he did a good job.
Well, sometimes just 1 or 2 punches can do it. We saw Jerry Penalosa trailing in his fight. 1 punch stopped Johnny Gonzalez, a 1-punch knockout to the body in the 7th round. And then in round number 1, Daniel Ponce de Leon with a right-left combination that stopped Ray Bautista. Lennox, pleasure as always.
Pleasure.
All right, well, it was an exciting night here at the Arco Arena, and still more great things to come here on HBO as we look at the boxing calendar. On September the 15th on HBO pay-per-view, it's 130-pound champ Juan Manuel Marquez against Rocky Juarez. Marquez is coming off his solid victory in March over Marco Antonio Barrera. September the 22nd, it's Countdown to Taylor Pavlik. It's a behind-the-scenes documentary-style look at both fighters as they prepare for the middleweight championship. Then 1 week later on HBO, it's the fight night, the live fight. Middleweight champ Jermaine Taylor defends his title against undefeated challenger Kelly Pavlik. On October the 6th on HBO pay-per-view, it's Manny Pacquiao against Marco Antonio Barrera. Pacquiao knocked him out 4 years ago, but Barrera says this time things will be different. An audio podcast of tonight's fight, plus many previous HBO fights and other sports programming can be found at HBO.com and iTunes. Next on HBO, stay tuned for Bill Maher, the Decider, followed by an encore of the first episode of Hard Knocks Training Camp with the Kansas City Chiefs. So for our entire HBO crew, this is Bob Papa saying so long from Sacramento, California.